This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks again for joining the session. So today we will go over the softwares, the prerequisite for using the K6 and creating the scripts, executing it, whatever that is required from a prerequisite perspective. We'll go one by one. Okay. The first thing is, of course, K6 as a tool that itself we have to install it, right? So I have uploaded the K6 the software in the drive, okay, or you can also download it from the internet also, okay. K6, if you go to the K6 site, you can also download the software directly, or if you can go to my drive, I'll just go to my drive. Yeah, if you go to my drive in the K6, you can download this K6 latest, and then once you download it, there is no other prerequisite for K6 like Java or anything, right? You can just go and install the K6, just click, it will get installed. Uh, Probably in a C drive or a D drive, you can go and get it installed. Okay, automatically the K6 also will be added to your environment variable. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. So first thing is you're going to download the K6 from the drive for which you will get an access. Okay, and then you execute this installation file. Your K6 will get installed in a C drive or D drive, wherever location you give it. That is the first thing you need to do it. Second is you need a editor, right? To create a script, you need a editor. If you have worked in LoadRunner, you have Fusion. If you have worked in Jmeter, you can open a Jmeter in the GUI where you can go and create a script. But for K6, being since the K6 script are written in JavaScript, right? You can use any JavaScript editor or IDE. Okay, so you can very well use the Visual Studio Code, VS Code, Microsoft VS Code for your script creation. So you download this VS Code setup. Okay, download this VS Code setup from the drive. Okay, or you can also go to internet and then install, download the VS Code. Both are okay. Okay, for keeping it simple, you don't need to go and search it. You go to my drive K6 and softwares. You can download this VS Code setup, and then again just double click it, and then it will get installed by its own. There's nothing. You to just give next. It will get installed. No, nothing uh, difficult about it. Just click, it will get installed. Okay, once you install, right, you need to just open it, the VS Code, and this is the editor. Okay, Visual Studio Code. This is how it will look like, and then whatever scripts you are going to import or create, everything you will do it from here. Okay, so once you open the Visual Studio Code, so once you install it, right, you can go to the it will be there in the startup menu as well. Just double click this Visual Studio Code. This will get open. At the beginning, obviously you will not see any of this .js files and all. I just opened it, right, like any editor, even Notepad, right? You open Notepad, you can go and open your files. Similarly, you can go and open the files. In our case, we'll go and open the script files, .js files. All the cases scripts will have extension of .js, .js or JavaScript. Okay, so this is the second thing you have to do it. One, you install the K6. Second, you install the Visual Studio Code. Okay, and then there is something called extension. Okay, so click in the left hand side menu. If you see here, 1, 2, search, source control, run, and then the last option is extension. Okay, in the extension, you click the extension and type K6. Okay, there are some default extensions that are available within the Visual Studio Code to make K6 work properly. Okay, first is K6 for Visual Studio. When you first open the Visual Studio Code and type in K6, you will have something called install button here itself. Okay.
Can this be
say
installed
for
on
example,
Mac as well?
install. Sorry,
Is this compatible with Mac?
somebody's
Mac?
asking something.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Mac as well. It is compatible. Yeah,
Okay.
I could able to hear you. Yes, Mac as well. It is compatible. The VS Code is compatible with Mac, and you can very well use the Mac as well.
Okay.
But the installation, whatever I've given, it is for Windows. So you may have to go and download it directly from the site for the Mac.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so you will have an installation button. Just click install for K6 for Visual Studio, and K6 snippets, and K65 language support. All these three things, you just go and install it. Okay. Once that is done, okay, so just do it in this order so that it will be easy for you to follow it. Okay. So now once this is done, we need to we have installed K6. We have to make sure that yes, K6 is working in your machine or not, right? So we may have to just run the K6 with a sample script, and you can check it out whether it is working or not. For that, you need a sample script, correct? So you can definitely go and download the scripts what I have it here. Don't worry about what is there inside the scripts. Okay, just download this demo script.js. Okay, and then open this demo script.js from file. Open the file. Okay, just select wherever you're going to download this demo script, point to that and then open it. Okay, so once you open that, right, go to that folder from here. So okay, I'll close this. So this is how your script will look like, and then go to the in the top, go to the terminal. Okay, say new terminal. Okay, in the new terminal, you will get this window from where you can run your script. So all my scripts are stored in say in this folder. So I'll go to this.
Satish, you are going on mute in between.
Okay,
your voice is.
And then, oh, is it for you?
For I get, at least I'm experiencing that.
Yeah, for me also, I'm
Others,
experiencing the same.
do you have any audio problem?
Yeah, same thing with me.
Okay, if it continues, if it continues, let me know. I'll try to probably log off and log in again if it continues. Okay, yeah. So go to this terminal and then go to the folder where you have this scripts are stored. Okay, and then say K6 run. Okay, and then okay, whatever script it is there, enter it. Okay, you should get something like this, or some kind of an error is also fine, but it should not say that it couldn't able to find the K6. Sometimes what happens is it will the K6 is installed. Okay, and if it is if the visual code is couldn't able to identify where the K6 is, it will say K6 cannot be found, or command could not be recognized. your K6 command is not recognized. Apart from that, what will happen is, if you see this demo script, right, I might have some files folder, or this URL might be incorrect. That is fine. We're just making sure that your K6 is whether it is installed properly or not. For that, if you give K6 run followed by a script, it should do something. You can even throw an error saying script is failed, or this demo script doesn't have anything at all. Okay, it will just go and hit this URL. That's it. So this URL will work. Even if it's going to give 401 or 500, you don't need to worry about it. All we are validating is whether K6 is installed properly or not. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll probably log off and log in once in the mobile. Since you are experiencing this audio problem, let me log off and log in once. Just give me one minute. Okay, I've logged in again. Hopefully it should be okay, I guess. If not, just message me. Let me figure out some, probably I'll connect to some other internet. Okay, fine. What I was saying is, so once you run this K6 run, it should execute it, and then it should show some log like this. This will validate, this will ensure you that, yes, okay, K6 is installed properly in your machine. Okay, that is the second step. So you download your K6, install it, download the Visual Studio Code, open it, run the extensions, and then open the download the JavaScript from my drive, and then open the terminal, and then execute it K6 run, and it should run. Okay, so these things you follow it sequentially. Okay, and next thing is, there's something called K6 cloud. Okay, I was telling about that the previous day, right? K6 as a cloud component where you can go and register your ID, or with your Gmail ID, you can go and open a K6 a SaaS account. Okay, why we do it, I'll explain you that. Okay, first go to the your browser. Okay, yeah, go to the browser, and then there's something called app.k6.io. Okay, you can sign in with your Google account directly. There's nothing else is required, no credit cards, nothing. Just do a Google. Okay, and then open it. Okay, so when you open it, obviously it will be an empty page. You may have to go and create a new project. Okay, so this is a SaaS account, right? You will have app.ks.io with your ID, you will get it. Okay, and you go and create a new project. And this new project is nothing but you just going to give a project name, right? We'll say Isha Training. Okay, and then you go and create a new test. Okay, and in the create a new test, you will have two options. You can start building your script, or you will get a edited directly. Okay, we'll just go and do a start building. Okay, so this is a place where you can do a couple of things. Okay, you can go and manually add the steps. Okay, like if it is a web services, right? If it is a microservices, to create a script, you can go and manually create those. I'll tell how to do it. Okay, and second option is if it is an UI based script, if it's a web based script, right? Where you open a browser, do a launch, login, all these things, you can do a record scenario. Third is importing in a HAR file. I'll explain this what is that later. HAR is nothing but your HTTP archive file. Directly from the Chrome, you navigate manually. You can copy the HAR and then import it. I'll explain you each and everything one by one. But for the recording a scenario, right? You need a recorder, right? You need a browser plugin. Okay, that is some next thing you need to install it. Okay, so the order in which you will go is, as I was mentioning earlier. Okay, the order is install K6, install the visual code, install the extension, download the sample script, execute it, and then come to app.k6.io, register it, and then create a new project, create a new test, and then you go and install the Chrome plugin. Go to the Chrome and then say K6 Chrome extension. Okay, install this recorder. You install it. Once you install it, right, it will be like this. You will have the K6 browser recorder here. Okay, so this is another next thing you need to once you click it, right, it will get added to your Chrome immediately. Okay, so it won't take much time. Once you have this recorder done, installed, then you can start doing you can validate whether your recording is working or recorder is working fine or not. Just do a sample recording. Okay, all these things are all preparation work for you to start doing something on K6. Okay, so go to a recording a scenario. Okay, and then say I will say K6. K6.com. IO, sorry. Okay, so this is a testing site, this test site which K6 offers. Just give this. Okay, and do a start recording. Okay, so you can start it right away. It will open a new tab, and then it will launch the test.k6.io. Okay, so we'll not do anything. Probably we'll just go once your recording is completed. This is just a sample, right? We are just making sure that I have installed the recorder plugin. I will make sure that it is recording properly or not. So I'll go to the extension and then go to click the K6 process to stop the recorder, right? To start, you will start a directory. To stop, go to the extension, click this, and then say stop. Okay, once it is stopped, automatically it will redirect you to your app.k6.io account. Okay, there it will show you this page. Okay, it says there's a recorded test at this time, and there's an option for correlate request and response, and just check in this box. That is fine. Okay, all we are now trying to do is nothing but whether the recording plugin is working or not. Okay, so then I'll say save, click a save. Okay, if you see here, there's a get call. That is what we recorded, right? There's a two view. One is kind of interface where you will see all the calls. There's a page one and there's a get call. And if there are multiple get or post calls, you will see one by one. All the requests will be sequentially listed here. And if you go and toggle it, right, in the right hand side top, if you see there's something called builder and script. If you toggle it, you will get a script view, nothing but a JavaScript. Okay, here you will see that this is a URL which we launched, right? test.k6.io. Okay, so from a script perspective, it is very simple. It will have something at the top. There is something called import, and then there's something called load distribution, and then there's something called scenario settings, and there's something called scenario itself. Okay, don't need to worry about. I'll explain you one by one anyway. Okay, once you record it, once you save it, you will get this script like this. Okay, and then what I can do, copy the script. Okay, and then go back to your Visual Code, go to that new open a new file. Okay, paste it and say save as. Okay, I'll say test script. Okay, so this again, if you wanted to again all these things from setting up your mission, right? You have installed the plugin, you recorded that one sample site, you saved it, then you're going to copy. This is a process we will follow also while doing a scripting. You copy that, you copy the raw script what got recorded, and then copy it and then paste it in your Visual Studio Code in a new file and save it as a .js. Okay. And if you see here, it will look a similar thing to the previous script what I showed, right? Demo script.js. Okay, so here if you want to run it, right, if you want to run it, this also you can run it directly, but just do few changes before you run it. Okay, I'm not going to go over the structure in detail today because I'll go to do it anyway in upcoming sessions. Initially you will have some imports. Okay, I'll explain about all later. Second is about where you need to run this kind of load distribution. Okay, it says that run it in the Ashburn. So since we have created the script in the cloud, okay, by default I can go and even run it directly now because it is a SaaS account. K6 is providing a this in their cloud. I created a script and I can also run it directly in this location. Okay, that is why by default when I creating a script, it will say that there is a location called Amazon US Ashburn from which it will get executed. I can very well go and run it actually. If I say run, it will run actually in the cloud and you will get the results also. Okay, let it anyway do it. We're not worried about it for now. We are not going to look into the execution part anyway now. Okay, let it do the testing. We'll come back to this. But when you copy that script into your local Visual Studio Code like this, and if you have to run it, right, remove this load impact. Okay, we don't need this load impact. Remove this. We don't need the thresholds. Well, we'll talk about what is threshold later. Remove it. And then we don't want to run. This is the more like a ramp up, ramp down, steady state kind of a setups. Okay, I'll explain you these later again. For you to just validate it, don't run with 20 users and all. Just run with one user. Okay, just run with one user. This is enough. And even this, I'll change it to 1 minute. Okay, coming down. Let it be. I am not going to change anything at all. Save it. Okay, now K6 run. Okay, so it is running. Say it is running. Don't worry about if you get anything, any other error. Don't worry about it. Okay, so like saying URL is not launched. All these are fine because That is not a setup related problem. It is more to do with the site itself. Okay, you should not get error saying K6 is not recognized. Okay, there's a question, well, if you get a that issue, what we should do, right? So go to the environmental variables. Okay, and you add this manually. If it is not added, add this manually. Okay, system variable is K6, this one. Okay, K6, and provide the path in which K6 is installed. Okay, not where you downloaded the K6. If you go to my C program files, C program files K6, this is where my K6 is installed. Okay, this path you give it here. Okay, and then say okay. If sometimes maybe what would have happened is you install the K6, it didn't added to your environmental variable at all, you might get a problem. Or the another problem is if you would have installed a VS Code first and open the VS Code, and then you go and install the K6, right? Your VS Code might not be able to recognize it. In that case, what you'll do is you close the VS Code, open it again, and then you go to the terminal and then try it out. Okay, so the only issue could be because your system variable is not configured properly, you will get that problem. So just check it once if it is added properly or not. If not, you add it to this. Okay, yeah, so this is a sequence which you need to follow one by one for you to make sure that your mission is properly set up for you to create the script and then execute it. Okay, now there are two more softwares which you have to install it. Okay, those are your Inflex and Grafana. Okay, so if you see here, right, I think I started a test and it is running. This is the live execution view of your K6 running in the cloud. It says these many requests, this is your user, response time, all these things it is showing it here. Okay, we'll not go into the detail about these results and all. We will we'll focus on that later. This is just again, this is just a capability of the K6 over cloud. I'll just go and stop it anyway. We'll be looking into it in detail later. Okay. So apart from these things, two more softwares which you may have to install is your InflexDB and Grafana. Okay, I'll quickly touch it now, but anyway, we will use these two components not for creating a script, not for debugging the script, but when you're going to do an execution later. So in the cloud, say for example here, if you're going to use a cloud for execution, you have this live monitoring, right? Because you're going to pay money to K6, they're going to provide you the load generator, and they will provide you this kind of a monitoring as well. You can monitor your test, but you're going to use the K6 offline, just to your local machines, right? We're not going to use the K6 on the cloud for actual execution. In that case, you have to pay money to K6. K6 is open source. You can create the scripts, you can run the test, everything. If in case you wanted to go to K6 for asking them to provide the machine itself to run your test over the cloud, then you have to pay money. So if you pay money, you will get all this rich user interface for looking into the monitoring, reporting, everything. But if you're going to use the offline mode of K6, which is free, then you have to monitor it somewhere, right? Otherwise, all you will do get is this kind of data. Number of requests failed, passed, average response time, 90% response time, and it's not going to be easy for you to look into this data while the test is running, right? You won't be able to analyze or come to conclusion anything. That is where we will need a tool like Grafana and InflexDB. So what it will do is, InflexDB is a database. Grafana is a visualization platform, a graphical representation of your data. So while test is running, all this data, whatever you're seeing here, right? Your average, number of pass, fail, user, all these data, every second data will go into InfluxDB. And then in parallel, you'll be able to look into those live charts and dashboards in Grafana. That is the usage of Influx Grafana. So K6, Influx Grafana. K6 while running, it will send the data to Influx. How it will do it, I'll show it. And from Influx, you can connect to Grafana and you can look into the dashboards. Okay, I'll just show you how to install it, but the actual integration and all, we will look into it later as part of the execution. Okay, so again, InfluxDB, you go to my drive. Okay, go to my drive and then, okay, and then you have to download this InfluxDB. Okay, and then download the Grafana. Okay, both you download it. Okay. And once you download it, okay, go to the InfluxDB wherever it got downloaded. Okay, and extract it. InfluxDB, you need to extract it. It will be a zip file. You extract it. Okay, you will get this folder. Okay, then go to the command line. Okay. Say influx d.exe. Okay. The InfluxDB will get started. Okay, nothing, you're not going to do anything at all. Download the InfluxDB, extract it, and then you can run this command influxd.exe. It will get opened. In Grafana, just follow a instruction in the installer. Just do next. It will get installed. Okay, and Grafana being a visualization platform, you have to have an UI, right? So once a Grafana is installed, by default, it will be listening in 3000 port. Okay, so you open the localhost 3000, your Grafana will open like this. Okay, so you download the InfluxDB, extract it, in the command line give influxd.exe. Your InfluxDB will get started. And for Grafana, again, you click the once you download the Grafana installation file, double click it, it will get installed. You have to do next, it will get installed. And then open a browser, type localhost 3000 port, it will get opened. Okay, so initially it might ask you some user ID and password. Just give admin, it will go in. It's a default user ID password, admin and admin. Okay, so just install it and have it ready. How are we going to integrate K6 with InfluxDB? And from InfluxDB, how we are going to connect to Grafana? All these things we'll be looking into it in detail. Okay, there are default dashboards available in. See, I said right, Grafana is now Grafana bought K6. K6 was with the load impact earlier. Now Grafana acquired K6. So now K6 actually is a family of Grafana. Okay, so they have very good dashboards by default. For example, if you go and search for K6 Grafana dashboard, okay, there are default dashboards that will be available like this. What we see it here, right, in the picture. These charts, you don't need to go and create charts or dashboards. Okay, of course you have to do an integration. It will have to just go and talk to InfluxDB. But these charts, right, this will get automatically loaded once you import these dashboards in Grafana. You will get those charts and dashboard by automatically. Okay, so we'll look into all these things later anyway. From a software perspective, yes, these are the two more software you might need it and install it. How to use it, how to integrate it and all, we'll be looking into it in detail in the upcoming sessions. Okay, I'll take a pause here, guys. I'll take a pass. If there are any questions, we can probably spend a few minutes.
Yeah, Satish, one question. Hi,
Yeah,
Satish.
yeah, please.
Yeah, are we record shell applications using K6?
Repeat the question.
Are we record shell applications with K6 tool?
Shell applications.
Yeah,
What do you mean by shell applications?
the backend they were using shell code they were
You mean
using.
the shell scripts?
Yeah,
Okay, so you have a shell scripts, and what you do with the shell scripts? I just want to understand your question so that I can answer it properly. You have
no,
PowerShell
no, no,
scripts or shell
no,
scripts?
not PowerShell. We have a UAE is there. We are using Java, but the application is shell application.
Okay, okay.
We have a UAE.
Yeah,
We are
but
navigating
is
with
it
the
over the
Jmeter.
browser?
We have a browser. We are able to record application using Jmeter. We are doing enhancement now. We can use with K6 that shell application.
See, the backend, it could be a Node.js, it could be a Python, it could be a uh, .NET, Java, anything's okay. As long as in the front end, if it is a browser-based application, and the communication is going to be over the HTTP, right? All
Yeah,
this load testing is going to behave in a similar way because it won't even know what is there in the backend. Completely black box. For the tool, it is you're opening a browser, you're launching a site, and you're recording it. For example, you have Amazon.com, you have Flipkart.com, you have Instagram.com. We really don't know what is the backend technology, right? They might have whatever it is. We will not even know about it, right? But your Jmeter or your other tool will work. We don't even know what is there behind. So for your case, if it is a browser-based application, it should definitely work.
okay, thank you.
Does it support the WebSocket does it record those actions?
No, no, no. As I said, right, I think it's still evolving.
Okay.
We we can safely say that it will work for your web HTTP kind of a protocol. And if it is a microservices or your REST APIs, we can also go and build those scripts. For recording, yes, it has to be an HTTP HTTPS protocol. And for directly for microservices, we can go and build it for WebSocket and all. See, that can be a way to do it, but it is going to take a lot of our own R&D to do it, because end of the day it's still a JavaScript which we can actually build it on your own, but it is not going to be that easy, because even in LoadRunner itself, WebSocket is not something very straightforward, right? We face a lot of challenges. Getting it done in K6, it is going to be really a nightmare.
Okay. And how much does it support like the correlation? Like when you record a script, I didn't see like it generates the dynamic things. I mean, is it something you have to do by yourself? Because other tools I have seen, they pretty much they do it for you, but K6 I haven't seen that.
So again, going back to the LoadRunner, right? Even LoadRunner, you have the autocorrelation. Here as well, here also there is autocorrelation available. I'll show you how it is going to look like. It does a decent job, I would say. Not like LoadRunner. I haven't seen something in Jmeter which does this autocorrelation. Uh, but K6 does the autocorrelation for sure. Um, but not any tool is going to do 100% correlation, right? Obviously, you should have the knowledge on application which you are going to use it, and you can obviously go and do a manual correlation. There are a lot of flexibility that is available in K6 to handle this correlation. Since it's a kind of a JavaScript, you can easily pass the response. You can do whatever you want with the dynamic response. We have a lot of good flexible options, but the automated correlation, yes, it does actually. If you when you look at that when we before saving it, right, it was asking you whether to correlate the response or not. If you check in that box, it will do a correlation. I'll when I'm going to do a recording of a proper flow, I'll show it. It does.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so in the next class tomorrow, right, what we'll do is we will start with the microservices, with the API scripting, because that is something you have to go and construct it. It is not, we are not going to do a recording, right? It is a microservices. So I'll just go over the requirement for microservices, right? The way you get it is from the developer, there will be a Swagger documentation, right? Or there may be some other open UI documentation. What documentation will have is, it will have the it will have all the APIs and the corresponding methods and the sample request and response. All these things you will have it. Okay, this is what you need, right? Otherwise, what will happen is you will go and go to the developer, ask him to share the request. One second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Otherwise, what will happen is you have to go to the developer, ask him to share those microservices over the email. What he will do, he will say that this is the endpoint. This is the sample request body. These are the headers has to be used. That is what he will email you, right? But a more a professional way of doing is this API documentation. This API documentation, once they give it to you, you will go through all the services which are already created. Like there are many get calls, put calls, one for pet, one for store. It is logically, it will be grouped. There is a group of services for pet operation. There's a group of for store, for user, right? And for example, if I want to do add a new pet, maybe it's a pet store application. I'll just go and try it out, right? From here itself, I can go and try it out. I'll go and say I need to try it out. Okay, then I can just go and add something for with ID 1000, and then say name is dog underscore or dog hyphen train, something. I'll go and add it, right? So this is how the, irrespective of tool, for any whatever tool you're going to use it, from a requirement perspective, you will get a API documentation either through emails or through this kind of a Swagger documentation. Okay, you will go and try out whatever you're going to do a scripting. Before you go and do a scripting, you need to make sure that this API is working fine. You know what is the input you will give it. For example, now I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to create a new pet in a store. I just given a category as doggy, name as dog train, ID is given 1000. Okay, and then if we come down, if I have executed this, the response says dog train is added with ID 1000. This is a response, 200 code, response code. So if I do this in the script, right, it should give me the similar response. So I have a I have a sample request, I have it. Okay, and I have a sample response code, response header, everything I have it. And this is what you need it for your scripting also, right? You need your response request body, which is nothing but this, and you need a endpoint, right? And this is the endpoint, pet store 3.swagger.io slash API slash v3 slash pet. So you have an endpoint, you have the headers, you have the request body, right? So this is the input you want for your script. So in the Swagger documentation, you go and try out these APIs, see how the request and responses, see if it is working or not, and then take this to your scripting. Okay, for example, I posted this, right? Now if I go and execute a get call, say get by pet ID. If my intention is to create a script for post a new pet and then get a pet, what I'll do, I'll try out this as well. I'll create a post, I'll create a new pet, and then I'll go and say 1,000. I'll execute it. Let's see what it comes. It comes saying response body is 200. There is a response is dog train, doggy. It returns the data, right? So which means the post and get for pet, it works. It works fine. I have the requirement properly now. I have my endpoint. I have my request body. I have my sample response body. With this, I can go and create my script, right? So this is what we'll do it in the next session, but from a requirement perspective, you have to get your API documentation through this Swagger, or there might be some other specific online tool for showing this documentation. Swagger is a very universal way of accessing your API documentation. Some other team might have something else as well, but all you need to ask your your development team is, provide me the whatever API they have completed development, provide me the documentation. If they have the documentation like this in a professional way, they will give it to you, or they might just provide you those whatever you're seeing it here, they might execute it in their local, and then they will tell you, okay, this is the endpoint, this is the author headers, these are the request body, this is a sample response body, all these things they will probably send it over an email. Either way, it is okay, but always ask for them to share you the this kind of a Swagger documentation for the your APIs or microservices. Okay, so with this as an input, you will go and start creating your script. Okay, and I'll stop it here. We'll not go over the scripting part today. We'll go over it tomorrow. But this is a requirement we will start with from a scripting perspective. Okay. So what you have to do is, by today or tomorrow or whenever you get time this week, go and install all these things one by one as we followed that, as I mentioned today. Okay, and get your machine ready so that you can also start doing the scripting whenever you get time after these sessions. Okay, this video you will get it tomorrow afternoon. Okay, and every day video will be available next day by afternoon IST. Okay, yeah, I'll stop it here, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, we'll connect tomorrow.
Satish, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
The previous session, the demo session, I saw a table comparison comparing, I think Jmeter versus K6 kind of comparison, and K6 had a very low footprint in terms of the load generation. It just requires very minimal CPU memory, and even with a small machine, you could generate thousands of requests per second. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct. That is
does it mean that even with our own workstation, we could actually run a bigger test? Like, say, you want to test an e-commerce website, you don't have to actually go to the cloud, procure a load
no,
generator.
no, no, no.
Mhm.
See, irrespective of tool, running something in your local is not advisable, because there might be a lot of interference. Okay, one is your network bandwidths. You might be using your VMs, and VMs might be available in a different network zone. Okay, normally we will get these load generators in your server LAN. Okay, so which will be a little stable. Your bandwidth will be good. Technically, yes, you can still do it. For maybe for 500 users or 300 users, but there will be McAfee running in your machines. There will be other softwares, Outlook, Teams. Not advisable. Technically, yes, you can still go and do it. Even Jmeter also you can do it, run it from your machine. K6 also can do it. Comparatively, you can do more from K6, but it is not advisable.
Yeah, Jmeter, I would say definitely no. But K6, since I saw it was in thousands actually, the request per
Not
second.
only it's not
So
like capacity, right? It is not only capacity, but it is also
yeah, yeah,
related to the
understand the
network.
network. Yeah, yeah, completely understand the network. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
network isn't the bottleneck, should be fine. Is that?
Should
Can
be
I
fine.
take it
Should
that?
be fine. Should be fine. But how much you can stretch? It depends upon the throughput of your server, your request, number of requests. All these things will come into a play. But yes, you can still do it, but it is not advisable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fine, yes. So yeah, we'll again connect tomorrow. We'll have our second session tomorrow. If you have any, if you do install it, and if you have any questions, we can take it up tomorrow morning, or rather, right before the session starts, we can look into the questions if you have related to the installations.
So
Yeah,
are we?
I'll stop the recording. We'll connect tomorrow, guys.
One question.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Are we? Can we create one SOAP request and then execute a test with that SOAP request?
The SOAP request is not in scope. Okay. If you need some inputs, I can probably also give it. It is not part of the sessions. We're not going to do practically the SOAP request, but in case if you need any information, I can definitely share it how it has to be done.
Yeah, I mean that's the main thing that I'm here for. We have one application that's using MTOM, and we're unable to test it using
Mm-hmm,
load.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've heard K6 is good with a lot of APIs. So if we can focus on like APIs well, and microservices, that's uh, that's something that can help me.
Okay, okay, yeah. So do one thing. If there are any sample SOAP applications available, REST APIs available, just look into it and let me know. I can try it out and show it to you. But yeah, that is going to be something outside of this course. Okay, for the course, we'll go with the flow, what is planned. For your requirement for the SOAP-based microservices, SOAP-based REST APIs, I'll also try to look into if something is available, which we can try it out. Even if you find something, let me know.
Okay. And if we can learn as well, like how to handle like headers, making sure like we can input we can import certificates and um, enter username, password, um,
Mm-hmm.
those things as well will be helpful. And SOAP actions.
Okay, okay. Sure. Okay, yeah. Yeah. But again, let me look into it. If there is any sample SOAP API applications are available, you also look into it and let me know.
Okay.
If even if it is not part of the regular session, I'll try to look into it and then provide you the required information.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just have a quick question if you have time.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll just take one last question. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I recorded my script and I was trying to correlate and I grabbed the response, but I have a difficulty. I did like the setup and the teardown. I have a difficulty passing the data, like the user session ID from the setup to the actual function. Uh,
We haven't even started, so
okay.
we'll wait for us to go there, and then we'll take up this question. Or you
Okay.
just send me the snippets just on the WhatsApp. What you've done, what does your correlation looks like, what is your response? I'll take a look.
Okay. That would be great. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. We'll meet tomorrow then. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.